Yo, how's everyone doing? Welcome back for some more Forza Horizon 3. Today I'm sharing with you the Forzathon exclusive Porsche 959, and this is an all-wheel drive car. I actually thought this was going to be a rear-wheel drive car before I actually got it in the game, so that actually really surprised me. But I just want to show you this car in the Forza Vista, share with you some racing gameplay, and then also at the end I'm going to share with you some free roam gameplay so you can hear the sounds of this car really distinctly, because the sounds of this thing are really nice. It comes stock with twin turbos, and you can certainly hear those turbos screaming, and it also has a nice blow-off valve sound. So overall, this is probably one of the nicest sounding Porsches that I've driven in Forza Horizon 3 so far. It's probably second favorite behind the 918 Spider, because that car sounds absolutely ridiculous. But in terms of looks, I actually like this car more than I thought I would. The interior of this car looks pretty good overall. The steering wheel is a bit weird, and the seat colors are a little interesting how they have it designed, but overall the inside of this car looks pretty nice, and the outside I liked a lot more than I thought I would. It looks pretty good overall. The only part that I really don't like is kind of the way the spoiler is and the back end of the car, like the rear bumper. When you look from the side of the car, it just looks really awkward and weird, but besides that, overall I do like the looks of this car. But in terms of performance, this thing is pretty good overall, but it does have a few things that I kind of don't like about it, but it's certainly nothing that can't be corrected through upgrades. And the one thing that I really am surprised by, because this car is all-wheel drive, but the grip is really not all that great once you're going faster and trying to make turns. You're going to start to slide and go into a drift if you don't let off the throttle a little bit. But look at how nice the motor looks on this car. They have such a nice setup in this thing. I have to say, that was one thing that I really liked about it when I looked at it in the Forza Vista. But like I said, the car will slide a little bit, and considering it's all-wheel drive, it really should not do that. You should not have to let off the throttle going around bends at a little bit higher speed. That's kind of like what a rear-wheel drive car is, which, just looking at this car, that's why I thought this car was rear-wheel drive. It just looks like a rear-wheel drive car, but it's actually all-wheel drive. But the thing is, the tires on this thing stock are not even street tires, so you can upgrade the tires to either street tires, sport tires, or race tires. And once you do this, it should certainly correct the grip issue. And if you drive really well, if you can let off the throttle just a little bit when you're going around bends, you really don't even need to upgrade the tires. But I highly recommend doing so, because this car will be perfect for the top of the A-Class or the top of the S1 class, because right now it's in the middle of the A-Class bone stock, and it's pretty good where it's at, so I think it would be good at the A-Class. But with the upgrades available, I feel like the S1 class could be even better. But the one other thing that I don't like about the car is the braking. The braking is probably the worst part of this car, but once again, if you put those race tires on, you can also put wider tires on, and also you can upgrade the brakes. So if you do that, the braking should be no issue. But stock, the braking really is not all that great. But besides that, everything about this car is pretty good. The gearing ratios feel really good. Comes with a stock 6-speed transmission, and on top of that, the acceleration feels very good through all 6 gears. It really feels good, and it tops out at about 200, so the speed is really good for being in the middle of the A-Class. But the one other thing that I like about it is that the grip, even though it's not that great when you're making certain turns, the launch is actually very good. It still feels very good to launch, and for some reason off the line the car has no problem with grip. And this car just sounds so good when you shift, when you downshift. I really like the sounds of this thing, and you hear the turbos consistently while driving the car. Pretty much the entire race you can hear them. And if you have a headset, man, headsets are actually really nice for Forza. I know generally people probably don't use headsets when they play racing games, but when you hear the sounds of the car in the headsets, it's actually really cool. And on top of that, you can hear cars coming up behind you, so it's actually helpful in a way, but they're also just really fun to use because you can hear the sounds so much better and more clearly. And also, some of them will even block out other sounds from around you, so you can actually focus on racing and hearing the sounds of the car. But that is basically all I have to say about this thing. I actually did not think that I was going to like this car too much, but turns out that's actually a pretty fun car to drive. It sounds good, feels pretty good to drive, and I cannot wait to fool around with a tune for this thing. It'll probably be in the A-Class or the S1 class, but who knows what'll happen. We'll have to see once I start tweaking around with it. But let me know what you think about this Forzathon exclusive car, and make sure that you do not miss it, because the Forzathon event that's currently going on as I'm making this video is your chance to win it for free, or else you'll have to spend a lot of money in the auction house. And if you do have to do that, I recommend you do, because this is actually a pretty cool Porsche to drive in this game. But as always, thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to y'all again very soon. Peace out.